Hey folks, welcome back to the Backstage Cowboys podcast. Before we begin this episode, I would like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for listening to the Backstage Cowboys podcast. I'd like to thank our growing audience, not only in Canada and the US, but all over the world now. We have people listening to us in UK, Ireland, Australia, Thailand, Spain, Portugal, Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, Argentina, Cuba, Mexico. Bienvenidos, mis amigos. Gracias por escucharnos. Hey, listen to this. Hong Kong. Egypt. Hey, the Netherlands. Fuck, I don't even know where that is. Okay, listen, people. I have a favor to ask. You like the Backstage Cowboys podcast? Please tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandmother. Go to the Backstage Cowboys Facebook page, like it, share it on all over social media. And now you can listen to the Backstage Cowboys podcast on any platform you can imagine. I mean, we're everywhere. We're on iTunes, we're on Google Play, SoundCloud. I can't even remember all of them, but just search for us, you'll find us on any platform. Go to BackstageCowboys.com. Send me a message. Tell me about yourself. Who would you like to hear next on the podcast? Maybe you have something to say. Whatever, man. Talk to me. I don't know, man. Maybe you're thinking about a career in show business. Let me tell you about Avolites and how that can change your life. Okay, back to the show. This one is called If It Ain't Rock and Roll, Don't Call Me. That's not exactly true anymore, but that is what Pierre Roy used to say earlier on in his career. Pierre is the lighting director behind the Montreal Harley show, among many other things. So, let's get this show on the road. Do I have a drummer? Well, go! Okay, folks, welcome back to the Backstage Cowboys podcast. Today, back in my office, I have the privilege of having, sitting in front of me, the great Pierre Roy, who is one of the major lighting guys here in Quebec and just about all around the planet, I suppose. You've been to many places. Pierre, thank you for accepting my invitation. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, man. It's really nice. Think we're going to have fun.
I think we're going to have fun, too. Yeah, only we were just too reasonable. We only had one beer.
Yeah.
We could have went further on that, but anyway, it was too early.
Like I said, usually I don't drink for the lunch. I just eat and drink water or liquor. But now, for this interview, I said maybe one beer.
Yeah, that's what they all say. So, Pierre, once again, there's a few people on this planet where I don't know where to start. I think I have one question in mind. There's one thing I'd like to know right off the bat, and then we'll go around your career and talk about everything you've done. I've heard something about you a long time ago, and I'd like to verify if that's true. Okay.
Okay.
Someone once told
scared.
me. No, it's not intimidating or anything. Someone once told me that you established a rule at the beginning of your career, which goes like this: if it ain't rock and roll, don't call me. How true is that?
Almost true.
Almost true.
Yeah, almost true. It's true.
I'm so glad to hear that because I think that'll be the title.
Yeah, because first my music that I love most about is rock and roll. Beatles, Kiss, Queen, of course. Is one of the major artists that I like. So I made my mark as doing lights for a rock band, and that didn't serve me very well. But it served me well, but it didn't help for one side that people was thinking that I'm just good for rock and roll. Mm. But lastly, not far ago, I did a concert called Concert Amplifié
Okay.
with the Symphonic Orchestra of Quebec. And of course, they call me because they want this show to become a rock and roll show. But I did guys like Mario Pelcha. And
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and I did some comédie musicale also. So, you know, and I did once Les Parlementaires, you know, the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a comedy show where they're all sitting at the Parliament. It's a Parliament.
Exactly,
thing,
it's like a Parliament.
It's all these funny characters.
Yeah.
That's a really good show.
Yeah, and actually, I'm on the stage of that show.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk around here and fix your mic.
I'm going low.
Falling.
Yeah, the you know, in a Parliament, you have those guys who got the vote to be by the public, but they don't have anything. They can't say anything while they are in the Parliament.
Yeah.
So I was there, like sleeping, and they took a picture of me and they installed me on stage.
Wow.
That was the good idea of Mario Petit that you surely know.
Oh yeah, well that's Martin Petit's brother.
No,
that's
Mario
not.
Petit is a technical director, tour manager, production manager for Just for Laugh.
Okay, yeah. I've never met him.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's where I met him with Mario Pelcha actually.
Okay.
And the funny thing about me that he was always saying is, Pierre, there's two cues that I like about you. When you call off the house light and when you call in the house light.
Yeah, I always said the house light cue at the beginning of a show is probably the most thrilling one for us because people start applauding. I mean, the tension is going up. We are God Almighty, and most people don't know we exist.
Exactly.
That's what I like about it. So,
but to come for the story of rock and roll, it's kind of true.
Okay, so that's kind of true. Well, I'm glad. Can I quote you on that? I mean, can I just use that as the theme for this interview? If it ain't rock and roll, don't call me. Can I do that? Can I put a sticker on you?
Yeah.
Or would you rather go somewhere else?
It might give me the chance of not losing the chance of having other gigs, but that's okay.
All good, man. All right, just shutting off my headphones here so they don't go back into the mic. See, I'm not a sound guy, so I fuck around with my stuff all day long. I mean, and I don't really care. I mean, you can tell people that I'm not good at this. It's all good. You're still getting the sound, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you up to now? What's your job? What do you do exactly?
Right now, I'm doing a lot of stuff, like always, actually.
Yeah, you're a busy guy. I had to. I've been after you for almost a year now to get you on the podcast. So I'm very thrilled to have you in my office right now.
Yeah. So right now I'm touring with a band called Boogie Wonder Band.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe it just cost me a beer. Just one. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
And it's been like 13 years now. It's been 13 years now that I'm working with the Boogie Wonder Band. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun. And we just did, actually last week, a new adventure that's called Boogie Symphony.
That's what you were talking about with the symphonic orchestra.
Yeah, it's a 33-piece orchestra with Boogie on the stage also. So
is that a tour? Or
no, it cannot become a tour because it's too expensive.
I see. Yeah.
43 musician plus all the technician around is.
It's a one-time thing, right?
Yeah, it's a big event, special event. So hopefully we'll do at least 10 a year or 12 a year.
Oh, well, that's good.
That's going to be fun. I'm doing a lot of special events, Rockfest, Montebello Rockfest, Harley Davidson show every year.
That's something.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about the Harley show? How does that happen for you? I mean, on my side, I've seen the show. I mean, it's spectacular. It's just amazing, and I'm guessing that you put a lot of hours into it and lots of pre-prod. But how does that happen for you?
Well, the producer tell me is a concept of the night, because every year we have a new artist, a new kind of design for the stage. And then I'm just going drawing stuff, with WYSIWYG, and then it's the company that provide the gear that says I have this, I don't have that, blah blah blah, and then I'm building the setup. But it's always around 200 movers.
200 movers, just that.
And maybe 100 or 50 LEDs and a couple bar of 6 and a lot of blinders, a lot of strobe.
You like strobes.
Yeah.
Have you tried out the JDC one?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will have to.
Well, just across the wall, I have to mention this because I wanted to talk about it at the restaurant and I forgot. I got a suitcase in the back with 2 JDC ones in it.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to pull them out. I got to show you that.
Okay.
Because I know you love strobes.
Oh yeah.
I seen your shows.
Yeah. And for me, a rock and roll show, you need your sunglass with me.
Oh, got them right here.
And no, it's really fun because actually the producer give me the open door. It's do what you want to do. Show me it. If I like it, that probably will like it.
Yeah.
And it's about this. He doesn't say I want this or I want that. It's really.
Well, you have that reputation where if somebody hires you, they figure you're going to take care of things, and they don't have to be behind you calling you the shots.
No.
And I did something like that once. I was in a church, I think, and there was this. They were all volunteers there, and this one guy, he was used to having somebody behind the board that has never done it before. So he's calling the shots. He's saying, "Okay, they're going to sing this. Can you do this? And then can you do this? And then can you do this?" And after 3 or 4 shots like that, where I was a little bit ahead of him, he said, he came up to me, wanted to speak, and then just held back and said, "Oh, okay, you got this."
Yeah. That happens a couple of times to me too.
But in the professional world, I mean, when you hire a professional, you figure that the guy knows what he's doing, and I think more often than not, the light guy is the guy to whom the light guy is the person who gets the less spoke to.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody talks to you. I mean, sometimes it's hard to even just to get a pacing to see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they figure, okay, well, you're not important because you're you can take care of things on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need to talk to you. Right?
Yeah. Just last 2 weeks ago, I did a show with Grégory Richard.
Yeah.
And it's a vintage '69, and nobody has a pacing of the show.
Oh.
Even him. He doesn't know what he's gonna do.
Oh yeah, he just improvises.
Just start telling a story about blah blah blah. This month of the year, there was this artist that his song came through the top of the billboard and blah blah blah. And he looked at his band and said, "Okay, let's go with the minor this or whatever." And with the story that he tell, I know so much that the music. That I'm almost ready for the song that I'm pretty sure he's gonna sing, So for me, it's like I'm going tick, 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 and I'm ready to do a song, So it's really on the spot, and it's fun because I don't put any pressure on me, because if it's work, I'm good. If it didn't work, I'm the only one that knows that didn't work.
Exactly. You're the only one who knows what you wanted to do.
Exactly. So,
yeah, that's what I like about lights.
So no pressure.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like I said to a lot of kids, do it. Take it simple.
Yeah.
Made it simple. It's going to be beautiful.
Absolutely. And talking about kids, maybe we should go there now. And you've done a shitload of training.
Yeah,
I know. You've trained a lot of people. I'm sort of one of your students without being one, because I kind of looked over your shoulders a few times, especially back in the Spark days, Compulite Spark, which is a little complicated console we were working on.
Yeah,
and sometimes I used to look over your shoulder, and I caught a trick or two. But I know you've been doing a lot of training and a lot of lighting guys out there have learned their job actually from your teachings. How did that come about? I mean, I know you were involved with the Martin board, the M1, when it came out.
Well, you probably know Paul Pelletier.
Yes, of course.
Who doesn't know Paul Pelletier anyway? In Quebec and almost everywhere in the world now.
Well, yeah.
You know, and he's a good friend of mine, like way back, like 35 years ago, maybe more. You know, while he was working for a company called Reflex in Granby.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the cover band that I was doing at that time, you know, bar band, we were renting lights and sound over there. So I met Paul at that time, you know.
Okay.
And at some point, Solotech, as like it's maybe 12 years ago, they had to change their console, like the Spark console, because you know it didn't work anymore. For everything was broken.
Well, it got worn out, broken, and it was also technology that had been, you know, it was an old technology, and it was very hard to understand. Yeah. Like there was restrictions. Like if you're not a computer programmer, if you didn't design the thing, I like to read the book until I understand what the designer had in mind when he made it. But if you're not doing that, you don't understand. Why do I have to patch 4 fixtures at a time? Why do I have to start with the big ones and end with the little one? What happens if somebody walks in with 4 medium-sized and I'm already patched? You know, all this sort of stuff. And we understand at a certain point what the restrictions were at the time. Yeah. But that kind of that grew obsolete when they came out with the new technology and the touchscreens and all that. So when first time I saw the M1, I freaked. I went, "Yeah, you guys made a real board." so you got involved with that.
Yeah. So the thing is, Solotech did like a showcase of different light board. Like they were the Shamses was it there?
Yes.
The one
the Hog. Maybe?
The UGG was there. The Grand Emir, of course, was there. And Paul was supposed to be there with the Maxis.
Yes.
And
the Maxis, which is the
grandmother of the M1.
The grandmother of the M1, yes.
Yeah. But the software wasn't ready. So instead of bringing a board to do the showcase, that's something that the software is not ready for, he said, I'm not going to go.
That is smart.
Yeah, and then a couple of weeks after, he said, can you come to the office and I'm going to show you the Maxis and blah, blah, blah. So I tested Maxis, and I have a couple of times at home also that Darryl Sweeney sent it to me. And there was some stuff that didn't like on the Maxis, but I mean, the Maxis itself, but also the software. Like, you know, when you're on tour, you need to be really stupid check, you know, really easy to do everything.
Yeah.
Because you get tired, and the command line was really long to patch.
Okay.
So I said, I don't like that. There was a couple things. So Paul took note, you know, of this, and probably a lot of notes from everyone. And one day he came back to my place, and he brought the prototype of the M1, and said, "Look at this now." So I went there, you know, blah blah blah, and said, "Oh, okay, I love it."
Yeah,
we're getting somewhere, you know. And then when he came on the market, Darryl Sweeney told me, "Do you want one?" I said, "Of course," you know. And he said, like the Godfather, "I'm gonna make you an offer that you can't refuse." So he made the offer, and of course I said yes, you know. And like maybe 2 months after that, he said, "Do you want to do the training of this board when we sell the board? We're gonna send you to do the training of the buyers." So I said, "Why not? But someone has to show me how, you know." And so Paul came, explained to me all the things, how to go inside the board, and you know, train people, and what to say at the beginning, not taking care of this part because people are gonna start sleeping.
Yeah.
You know. So and then it came like I'm the M1 guys now in Quebec, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's what people say. I'm not saying this. That's what people say.
Yeah. Well, I'm one of them.
So it gives me also a really open, another kind of life for me, you know, because there's some people that didn't know me that now they knowing me because.
Well, yeah, and you're very present on social media also, so all these newbies can follow you and see what you're up to and ask questions. I'll bet you've got a lot of calls, emails, texts, whatever, from people who got stuck.
Oh yeah.
And so, how do you deal with that? I mean, I remember it's always a pleasure for me to help somebody that's stuck. Once they got past the first step, which is our TFM, which for those who don't know, read the fucking manual.
Exactly.
But the thing is, when somebody calls me stuck in a pickle, need to do this fast, or if they're having an issue with the board, it's a pleasure. What I have a problem with is when you're calling me for the third time for the same question.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you must have had a lot of that.
Oh yeah, nonstop.
Yeah.
But then what I do the third times, what I do is I go on website, I do the research, and I print a screen print of how long it took me to find the answer, and I sending them this, you know.
Yeah.
And I say, look, it took me like 0.3 second to find the answer.
Yeah. So, why are you calling me?
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, because like you said, I'm really busy on the media.
Yeah.
So people sometimes see me on Facebook like at midnight, and they come, can I call you?
Yeah.
So at first I was saying, yeah, go, you know, I'm awake anyway. But then it took like, he went back a couple of times. So at the end I said, to whom I'm sending the invoice? He said, okay, I understand.
You get it. Okay.
I get it now.
Some people get it faster than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at a certain point, that's what it is. I mean, yeah, sure. It's a bit like a star, like somebody who's well known. So and you must have had that issue too on tour, where you're with an artist, you're in a restaurant, and everybody comes up to you because they know you, so they figure you know them.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I don't know you.
Exactly.
No, my image is in your living room. I am not in your living room. I've never seen you before.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting down with your family having a beer.
Exactly. No, groupies and stuff like this, I'm trying to keep away from them because we all know they all come to you to go to the artist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So...
well, it doesn't work with me because I don't hang out with artists. So unless they're really, really good friends, in which case I keep it quiet.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I almost lost a job once because of a groupie. So for me now it's like, no.
Yeah.
Hi, good night. Have fun.
Right. And you've been touring most of your life, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's been like 37 years now.
37 years of living on the road almost. Yeah. So how's that? I mean, do you have a family? Do you have a life?
Family? Yeah, no. No, it's really special for that. You know, it's a choice of life.
Yeah.
You know, it's not for everybody to do what I do. Or what we do, the real road dog. I mean,
yeah,
that we are. You know, it's really hard for the girlfriends, or you know, almost all my girlfriends left because of my job. But it's strange because I met all my girlfriends because of my job.
Yeah.
So that means most of them were just a groupie.
Yeah, sometimes that filters out by itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm getting a little bit older, so I'm not taking care. You know, I have a lot of friends, and I'm really happy with this. You know,
cool.
No, I'm not trying to find the girls. You know, it's when you try to find that you don't find.
Yeah, that's true. And so, how old are you now?
54.
54. Oh, we're the same age.
Yeah, man.
Rock and roll. So, and let's go back to the beginning. I'd like to understand, like, where you're from, how you got into this mess, how you got into this business.
It's a really long story. You have a week?
Sure, no
Okay.
problem. I've got 32 gigs on my
All right.
SD card. We're
Okay,
good.
okay. No, it started pretty young, actually, without knowing it. Because, like, music was always my life.
Are you a musician?
No.
No? Okay.
No, actually, for my 10th birthday, my mom want to buy me the guitar of
Okay.
my uncle
Okay.
with the amp and everything, and I said, no, I don't want a guitar, I just want the amp. And she said, why? Because I want to play the music louder.
Oh, I did that too. You hook up your mixer to a guitar amp.
Exactly.
Sounds like crap, but it just plays loud, and that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. No, we were talking in the 70s.
Yeah.
So, and at one point, and even there, I didn't know. One of my friends, his dad had a lot of money,
Okay.
and so he was buying all those Radio Shack gadget for lights, that turns with the heat or flashing with the
I had a
the
couple
beat,
of those, yeah.
And he told me, he said, look, it's not fun, because every time that I want to change the mood, I have to unplug from the wall and plug the other things.
Uh-huh.
So I said, because I was kind of a electric funny guys, that I love playing with this.
Electronic freak.
Yeah, exactly. That's the right words. So I said, let's build a control that we're going to plug all the instrument there, and we're going to plug the box in the wall and put Radio Shack switch, the red one, that. So that's going to be our control. So this was like I was 14, about 15. Wow. So I built a console without knowing it's a console.
Man, I feel like I'm listening to my story.
So it started there.
We could have been good friends, back then.
Oh yeah. And one of the fun that we had at that time, when we were going to see a show, it was at the Forum of Montreal.
Yeah.
So, and I was living in Magog. So we have a lot of time on the road, listening to the band that we're going to see, and we were always trying to imagine how they're gonna start the show, the intro of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And at one time we were going to see Queen while they did the Flash Gordon album.
Okay.
And also for the movie. So I said, I think they're gonna start, because the music of Flash Gordon is boom, 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 flash, So, and it's radio talking with the spaceship and stuff like this, So I said, I think we're gonna hear this, boom, 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 radio transmission of starship, flagship,
mm-hmm.
and then big explosion of pyro, stuff like that, and the band will come with "We Will Rock You,"
Yeah.
The light close. Look, I have goosebumps.
Sure enough.
And the show start exactly like I said.
Wow.
And he turned around and said, "You read that somewhere?" I said, "No. How can I read this somewhere?"
It's brand new.
It's brand new, and there's no internet at that time. You know, there's no way that the big newspaper at that time was the Pop Rock.
Yeah.
Once a week, I guess, or twice a week.
And everything was a month late.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And things goes on and on and on. And one day, there's a friend of mine asked me to do the lights that the band he was working with, but I didn't know how to plug dimmers and stuff like this,
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I'm going to show you this, and no problem, blah, 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 that's going to be easy. And doing the stuff, and we installed the gear, and that night, it's like I had to shoot.
Oh.
Everything went click on my head, and right there, I start designing setup of stuff.
How old were you?
18.
Okay. Were you still in school or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 18 or 19, but I was still at school for
Okay.
cooking.
Cooking.
Yeah.
We got to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you were okay. So you were studying cooking,
Yeah.
and then you discovered lighting. But so how far did that go? Your cooking.
The cooking when
Have you ever worked in as a chef or
not
as
as
cook?
a chef, but assistant
Yeah.
chef.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in a restaurant in Magog, a really popular restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And that didn't suit me at the end, But there was some stuff that didn't like, I don't want to go too much over that, because I changed. I didn't like that people grabbing my ass.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
That's the thing.
I get it. But what's funny is that when you're in school
Yep.
and you're trying to make a career choice,
Yeah.
how come? I mean, I read the list. Okay, at the time, I read the list.
Yeah.
Stage lighting was not
No.
an item on the list.
No, exactly.
And that's a message I want to send out to anybody out there starting your life, starting your career, or trying to decide what you're going to do. Don't take for granted that everything that's presented to you that's it. That's
Yeah.
the end of the list.
I know, there's so
Because
many.
there's a lot more out there. And today it's a lot easier because with internet, people have access to so much information and so much possibilities that just wasn't there at the time. And because I remember when you went to see a show at the time, you saw the show, right? And the artists on stage were doing magic, and there was nobody else backstage, and there was nobody else at control room and all that. It was just like people on stage doing magic.
Exactly.
And I always said, when that happens, when people really think that the artist is doing magic, I did my job well.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's it. There's so many career choices out there that are just not on the list.
Yeah.
So you discovered that like sort of by accident.
Yeah, it's one of the things is at school I was really shy. I was like someone was saying hello to me and I become red.
Yeah.
That's people talking to me. Ooh, because I was pretty often the new guy because I move a lot.
Okay.
Another family story. But I move a lot. So, and one day I said, I'm not gonna go anywhere in life if I'm not kicking my ass myself, because nobody's going to kick my ass for me.
Indeed.
So I decided to go to the Radio Étudiante. It's you play music during the break. So for me, music was my language, something that I was really at ease.
At ease with.
Yeah. So for me, it was comfort. So for me, that was the way to step up to starting talking to people without telling them, you have to come to talk to me. So my music was talking to you, and I become the guys from the music, because all the other guys who taking care of music during the break was Jet Wattle playing Genesis, and me was Iron Maiden, Van Halen, Styx, Nazareth. So I was already the rock guy.
Yeah.
And when we had some special event in our school, I was the guy who taking care of. Like one day, I remember we rent the movie of Led Zeppelin. The same the song remains
the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in the movie, when you see it, there's a low fog.
Low fog.
So I bought dry ice,
yeah,
to put during all the movie, the fog going underneath the screen.
Oh, while they're playing the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So people and there were those strip lights around the venue. So I was opening this and following the cue of the movie.
Oh.
So they were like inside they were at the show, kinda.
Wow. Wow. That's
But I
cool.
didn't know that was a job at that time, and I was a little naive, kind of say, and I didn't know that lighting designer is a job. Didn't know the title. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
It's just something that for me came naturally, doing stuff like this, because I like the effects. I saw a lot of shows on video or stuff like this, so it came naturally.
Well, that's a piece of luck. I mean, to be able to eventually get a break and be able to do that for a living. Because I remember I started out, it was a hobby. I was just helping out a friend.
Yeah.
And at one point, I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if I could earn a living doing this? And even at the time, I didn't believe it that much. I figured, yeah, sure, I'll get a few bucks and that'll be it. But no, there is a real career possibility.
Yeah.
And there are lots and lots of people doing what we're doing, making a decent living.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean,
you have to work hard.
You have to work hard, of course, like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that movie thing, so what was that in school or was that for?
Yeah,
okay,
it was
that happened in school.
So after that, I did the local band that I had the shoot, that everything
the
pop up in my
shot.
exactly everything pop up in my head, and like I said, I was already designing stuff, in my book, and sometimes I had to wake up to get up because I wasn't able to sleep.
Wow.
So I have to get up and draw it, so I can go back to sleep, And there was one thing that popped me really hard in my head is one time I did a drawing, and in '93, that I'm talking like in '85.
Okay.
In '93, I'm with Voivod touring Wild World.
Oh yeah.
And Ozzy was on his farewell tour, the first one.
Uh-huh.
So, and I'm a big fan of Ozzy.
Uh-huh.
So I bought the VHS cassette, at that time, and the cover was the grid of a speaker.
Okay.
So in the tour bus, I put the cassette on, and the light setup there was almost the setup that I designed like in '85.
Wow.
I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
what's happened there? What's going on there? It's really, it's freaky,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you realize, you say, okay, well, I wasn't that far off.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, well, it did happen to me a couple of times. I've got some friends who designed some sets, and small sets because that small budgets. We're from that country, right?
Yeah, Quebec.
Yeah. Where you don't have budget, we just have talent. That's all we have to do with that. And a year later or 2 years later, you find almost the same set, but with, I don't know, a couple million budget. And it really looks cool. And you say, wow, okay, I designed it, but it looks better like this, of course.
Yeah. That's one of my frustration about, the no budget, but a lot of talent.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's like, okay, give me the same toolbox that this guy had, and I'm gonna show you maybe something a little bit more better.
Yeah.
We work a lot with not a lot.
Yeah, that's true. It is frustrating, but at the same time, it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier on in the restaurant, give me your crap and hire me.
Exactly.
rather than putting $1 million of gear and not hiring me.
Yeah, exactly.
If I have the choice,
Yeah.
So you did that show in school, and then you talking about that design that you did, and how did you come about to working with with real artists? If we can call it that way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm doing between coma. How you call this?
Yeah, brackets.
Yeah.
Brackets, yeah.
You know, I did a lot of club band, tour.
That the expression we're looking for is quote unquote.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I did a lot of cover band, that's where I learned my craft, actually.
Okay.
Because when you go to a club and you have you not having necessarily the gear to hang your stuff exactly how you want it, because the place is a double ceiling like this, or
Yeah.
so you have to be quick, you have to come in a place and say, okay, you look up there and say, okay, today it's like this, and hang everything and play that night.
Yeah, and every show's a different setup.
Yeah, so that's how I learned my craft, to think really quick and, take decision. Maybe it's not going to be the right decision, but you took a decision,
Yeah.
That's the thing that it's really important in show business, taking a decision, you don't have time for...
Make it work.
Yeah. Call a meeting and call the secretary and this guys, and you don't have time. This is the situation. Let's do it. Go. So I learned this, like my craft, like this, and then the music scene in the club changed a lot, because at that time we were bringing everything, sounds, lights, everything, and at some point. They were all installed. The gear was all there. So the only thing you have to do is focus, do a sound check, and play for 2-3 weeks at the same place.
Okay.
So I wasn't learning anymore.
Yeah.
So I said to the band, I said, look, at the end of October, I'm done. I'm stopping because I don't learn anything. And if I stay all winter, summer will come, and I know that we're going to do a lot of money, because with this band we're four musicians and me as a technician, and we were giving each other equal pay,
Okay, yeah.
So during summer with festival, the money was there, So I said, if I do this, we'll go in 93, and I will have the same situation. Didn't learn anything, so. In 92, I said, I'm out. You look at your...
No, I'm just looking at the make sure everything's good and it's not in the red. I'm not a sound man, so I got to check my things,
So I said to the band that I was doing, I'm going to stop, because I want to move on, So I stopped, and I was on the BS at that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because,
social welfare for
exactly.
The Anglophones out there. Yeah.
It
takes a man to admit that, right?
Yeah, well, that was the only time in my life that I was on welfare. So
shit happens, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I took all the money that I had, didn't pay my rent. Made a good CV, curriculum vitae.
Yeah.
And I sent this to everyone in Montreal, and. That kind of served well, because I started working for Solotech at that time, and then for Production Bamboo, it's the Spectrum, Montreal Spectrum.
Yeah.
And then one guy called me. He said, Pierre, did you ever work with the Yahtzee crew and this, and calling follow spot and this? I said, yeah, of course, yeah. Look, wasn't true. I was just finishing doing clubs, There's no Yahtzee in the club, So I said, okay. So we're doing the opening act for Bon Jovi at the Coliseum in Quebec. So that started my professional life.
Just say yes and figure it out later, right?
Yeah. So I went to the Quebec Coliseum, and I was like 5 months before I was playing in the Dagobert in Quebec, And you play in Quebec, Dagobert, and it's 5 months later you're at the Coliseum, It's kind of a big step.
Yeah.
So every time that I was seeing people passing by me, and they were knowing me, they were like, what are you doing there? Well, I'm doing this, I'm doing the opening act. that was Saint and Sinner at that time with Rick Hughes, Stéphane Dufault,
Yes.
major artists in Quebec.
Yeah.
So, and my hand was so shaking that I had to put my hand on the console to not showing that I'm nervous. But my hand was shaking like crazy,
Yeah.
But right after the show, the guys from Bon Jovi came and said, "Hey, man, nice job, thank you." And,
Wow.
he was really nice with me. So that's one of the things also that brought me to the line of work. Being nice with people that works with you,
Oh, yeah.
when the young LD comes and of course, if it's their first show, maybe they're going to be nervous. So you're supposed to be there to help them, not putting stuff in their wheels to
unless they have the wrong attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good attitude will bring you far further than if you're the amazing guy.
Yeah.
You know everything? Great, you're lucky.
Yeah. I always said better off shutting your mouth and having people think you're an asshole than talking and proving you're one.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so that started there, and then I did a tour, couple of shows in opening for Bon Jovi, then a tour with Lee Aaron, also on as an opening act with Saint and Sinner. Then Saint and Sinner broke up, bad for me. And the same manager was managing Voivod.
Okay.
So he called me, he said, "Look, you want to go on tour with Voivod? They're doing Europe for a couple of weeks, then US for 3 months, and then go back to Europe for 2 months, and then go back to US for 2 months." Yeah.
Sure, why not?
So I met the guys first because, when you're in tour bus with people, you want to make sure that you can stand them.
You need to be compatible, yeah.
Yeah. If you're not cool, they won't like you, and they're going to kick you out really fast.
That was pretty much my argument the last tours I did. It wasn't about what the tour was and where we were going. It's who I'm leaving with.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Major, I saw a movie, don't remember the title of the movie. It's about Hired Gun. The movie's the documentary is called Hired Gun. And the singer of Rob Zombie, Rob Zombie, said, "Look, I always try to meet the guys before I hire him because I'm gonna live with him like 24/7.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I can smell him, I can have fun with him, and he's cool and he looks good on stage, and this is show business, but at the same time you want to have fun.
Yeah.
If you don't have fun, it's a job.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a hell of a job if you're not having fun, because I was talking with Eric Mascotte yesterday, and we were talking about the long hours.
Yeah.
And we're saying, if you look at your daily rate, what you're making, you say, oh, it's cool, I'm making good money compared to people working in an office. But then when you break it down, with how much you're making per hour, and then you realize, oh, shit, I'm not making that much money.
Yeah.
So you got to love what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. That's a part. I know it sounds cliche, but it's a part of the pay. Having fun, and you travel also. So people pay to travel.
Yeah.
We are paid.
We're paid to travel. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult because we don't get time to see anything, or it's hard to be living on the road. But then again, like I was saying before, you wind up in Miami in some small cafe somewhere having a beer or whatever, and you're saying, hey, well, what do you know? We're paid to be here.
That's life.
Pretty cool. Hey, you know what? I wanted to talk to you about a couple of techniques that I got off you.
Okay.
And and I'm sure that you've been doing a lot of those and a lot more of those. But I remember looking over your shoulder once, and I saw at the time on Compulite, I saw you doing the X effect and the Y effect, and you'd put one of them on one fader and the other one on the other fader, and just pull them up as needed. You wouldn't believe how many times that saved my ass, that technique. And that I owe that to you, and I had to tell you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
You never told me. I just saw you do it.
Yeah, still using this this option when
it works.
When you have to bunt a show, you know.
Yeah.
It's
busking. I think that's the English term.
Yeah,
busking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that in England.
Yeah. It's, you know, you have to find a way to do quick effects any way you can, and so that's tilt and pan on a different fader, and you go. Yeah. You can have everything you want.
I used to have all my parameters. Yeah, somebody told me I had to say parameters and not parameters. Did you know that? I learned it last week.
Yeah, I knew it.
I was out west, and the guys were laughing at me, and they said, "Well, parameters. What's so funny about parameters?" So it was parameters. I said, "Oh, that fucks me up," because I've always said parameters, and now I'm going to be looking for my parameters while I'm saying parameters, and I'm all mixed up.
Because if I'd say parameters, you know, that means that I did say this to about 300 young kids that learned the M1.
Yeah. So what? Are they doing a good job? Good.
Some of them, yeah. There's a couple guys that, you know, when the training was done, you know, were talking, you know, at the door, waiting for leaving, you know, and you know the eye of the tiger. You see the eyes, and everything you say, he's grabbing it. You know,
sacred fire.
Yeah. So when I see this, you know, it's like I'm giving him a lot of info. Like more info than just the training. It's not even for the training. It's for how to deal with stuff on tour. You know, be humble, stuff like this. You know.
Yeah.
You know, just life. But you see the guys. It's really cool for that. Doing training people. You can meet some guys that are girls also, because there's a lot of girls now.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that you know that they're gonna go far. So it's really cool for them, telling them those stuff, but it's cool for you too, because that means that you did something good.
Yeah.
For me, it's really important to do something good for people that deserve this, you know.
Yeah, you're feeding the passion.
Yeah.
Actually. And some people don't like to tell their tricks, and they don't like to share. And I've seen people doing those jealous eyes, you know, when you know, okay, you're doing this gig. Oh yeah, how come you're doing that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. You can't do them all.
Yeah, exactly.
There's too many gigs going on at the same time, dude. Other people have to work too, you know.
For me, it's really. I don't like people that try to keep this secret for them, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not good.
No.
You know, if the guys become better than you, then you did a good job.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And it happened.
Yeah.
It happened. Actually, I'm a lazy guy, okay? I always said, I mean, there were certain shows where I was 40% of myself and the client was satisfied. And, you know, that kind of fed my laziness. But sometimes, let me turn that thing off. But sometimes I'll train a guy and with same talent, whatever, and that person just has the energy that I don't.
Yeah.
And they'll push it further, and they'll go further and everything, and they'll make a greater show.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. I appreciate looking at that. And sometimes I'll just tap them on the shoulder and say, you know that you and me, we're the only ones knowing that you gave that extra 60%, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because everybody else doesn't care.
But there's a thing that I'm saying, you know, sometimes to people that, you know, we're not eternal, you know.
No, exactly.
But there's a way to stay eternal.
Yeah.
To make to show to give your
knowledge
to others, so your knowledge continue to live on the other person.
Exactly.
So for me, it's
that's such a great way to see it.
That's so when I be dead, I know that's kids that learn from me gonna continue to bring my stuff higher.
Yeah, there's one thing I'd like to know, Pierre.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of how do you say it? First acts?
Yeah, opening act.
Opening acts, that's what I was looking for. You've done some opening acts and you've done some main acts.
Yeah.
And how do you live that? I mean, what's the difference when you're doing the lights for an opening act or for when you're doing the lights for a main act? And let's say the opening act, you have to deal with the guy from the main act, and doing the main act, you have to accommodate the guy from the opening act.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me about that? How did you live both worlds?
Well, as doing lights for opening act, as an opening act, I have to deal with pretty often it's the production manager that say to their LD, give him just this or this or that, blah blah blah.
Yeah, so they'll give you part of the kit.
Yeah,
and there's certain stuff like lights or effects they don't want you to play with.
Exactly,
they want to keep the punch for the main band.
With Van Halen, for an example, when we were touring with Jonas with Van Halen, the only moving lights that I had was the FOH truss. That's it.
Wow.
And I said, thank you. That's how you deal with this. He gives you at one spot. Thank you. That's their show. That's not your show.
Yeah.
But some other bands that I did, like Anthrax. It was Voivod, White Zombie, Anthrax. And Anthrax, I had a lot of fun with them, and actually I almost went on tour with them because I was in Montreal at the Verdun Auditorium, and the guys said, look, we're missing one guy on that tour. You want to come with us? You're cool,
Wow.
So at that point, because integrity for me is something that it's really important, so I said I can't because I have another tour with Voivod coming,
Yeah.
So and that tour coming was with Fight, the singer of Judas Priest.
Okay.
So I did a tour with Fight, with Voivod, and then I became the LD of Fight also for that tour.
Oh.
That's another thing that was really cool for me because, you have the singer of Judas Priest right in your face singing song from Judas Priest.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of
nice.
Yeah, from guys from Quebec.
Yeah.
I know the land of opportunity is the U.S., but I had one here from a guy from Quebec. So because that was a fun part about that. We were in Pittsburgh. And didn't have any LD, so they were taking the house guy.
Okay.
And in Pittsburgh, during between song, the guys was asking, just put a little light, so we can see where the bottle of beer or bottle of water is, and we drink. And the guys was putting strobe lights between song.
Oh.
Yeah. So Rob Alford said, look, guys, stop doing this. Put lights on, but no strobe. So play the song, next break, strobe again. So Rob Alford said, look, put some lights on and don't touch the board anymore. Go at the bar and drink. So the day after, we were in Minneapolis, and the rig of lights was really cool there. So the tour manager came to me and said, look, there's a nice rig here. You want to do lights for us too? So I said, holy fuck, yeah.
Of course.
So I was doing Voivod, click, 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 doing my part of the changeover because we have to leave the stage like crazy, fucking quick. Mm-hmm. And doing the lights. So I was doing the lights for that night. And the day after, the guys came back and said, "You want to do the rest of the tour too?"
Wow.
So, man, I had so much fun,
Yeah.
So that was one of the good tour, and I make a lot of friends at that time with them. The soundman of the fight was the guys from Whitesnake.
Oh, wow.
The monitor guys was the guys from Guns N' Roses. All those small time soundmen.
Yeah.
And I was pretty. That's one of the regret. Yeah, that's one of the regret that I have in my life. Is I became really good friends with the monitor guys, and he said to me once, he said, "Look, give me all your info, and I'm gonna bring you to L.A. and I'm gonna try to make you work there, blah 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 blah." So I said, "Yeah, cool, we'll do that." I didn't want to go. Okay, let's do this right now. Like exciting kids.
Just wanted to play it cool.
Yeah, exactly. And just 1 week before the end of the tour was canceled.
Oh.
So I never had the chance to give him my info.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Sometimes when you have your opportunity, do it.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Good advice
I can give you.
Yeah.
You have the chance to do something, do it.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Oh, absolutely. And that goes for just about anything.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, if you see the opportunity, don't wait for a second sign. Just
exactly.
grab it. It's yours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But to come back to the opening act, I was kind of lucky. Everybody treat me cool. Liar, the LD of Liar, and everybody was fun. So for me, when I have to deal with the guys who's doing lights for his opening act, because I'm the LD of the main act, I'm just gonna say, that's a festival, that's your gear, take it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have time to program, and so if it's good, if it looks good for him. Because my show is programmed, and if I'm bad because he's better than me, good for him.
So be it.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah. Well, you got to trust yourself too.
Yeah, I have a program show, and he comes to the board, and you have a half hour to do a program is set, and he's better than me. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's gonna kick my ass. Work a bit more.
Cool. So we're coming up to the end.
Yeah.
Always the same question I ask everybody. Like, there's a bunch of young guys and girls out there aspiring to doing what you've done, or in one way or another. What type of advice would you have for them?
Like I said earlier in this interview, keep it simple. When you don't have times, keep it simple. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And integrity. It's really important. Don't steal a job of your friend. Even if you're hungry, your friend is your friend. Don't steal his job, or at least if you have the offer of the job and you know that your friend's doing it right now, take the phone and call him and say, "Hey, look, I have an offer of a gig, and it's your gig. What's going on?"
Yeah.
Don't steal the job.
Yeah.
And be humble. And respect the hierarchy.
Yeah. How do you call that? Yeah.
Respect the one on top of you, And if you have a problem with a crew somewhere, don't yell at that guy or that girl. Go see your technical director or your production manager. Talk to this guy for the problem you have. He's going to go talk to the technical director or whatever production manager that hired this person and deal with it.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
That is some great advice, Pierre.
Sometimes they're playing there at the venue and they're receiving you. Next day, can be the opposite. You're in the venue and they come to your venue.
Yeah.
So they're...
Yeah, I remember when I was technical director of festivals, and you would you would be on tour with a band, and you'd come on my stage, and I remember you always saying, "It's cool to be treated like." It's you need to treat people like you would like to be treated.
Yeah, that's what I do every time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Pierre.
Man,
it's
it was
been a
fun.
pleasure talking to you. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. And I hope we meet sooner or more often, because we do the same thing, so we don't see each other very often.
Tour.
That's right.
And then when you're off tour, you sleep.
You sleep. Yeah, I don't go see shows when I'm not working.
Me sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, most people do. I don't. Anyway, it's been fun,
right.
Pierre. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, that's it for this episode of the Backstage Cowboys podcast. Special thanks to AVL Media Group and Avolights, who, in my opinion, make the best lighting consoles in the world. If you'd like to test drive an Avolights console, contact me via BackstageCowboys.com. This is Claude Vien returning you to whatever you were doing before tuning in. Okay, band, it's your wake-up call. Take it away now.